For this second tutorial video, we're going to build on the first one. In the first one, I made this simple block, and I was in the sketch mode when I wanted to draw the shape I did, and then I would extrude it and make it into a three-dimensional. Once I was done that, I had the properties here. I redefined them or renamed them to make sense more for what I'm drawing as opposed to the default names. So in this video, I want to show some of the skills to just navigate around and look at your shape, and then we're going to build a little bit on it with properties of the material and some other little features in it. Probably like a lot of different software you use, the scroll mouse, the scroll button, the scroll wheel, sorry, will let you zoom in and out. One of the things that gets confusing sometimes is if you're not careful where your mouse is, if it's over here and you scroll, it's going to zoom in there, and then you get kind of in trouble. Whereas I want to look at that part, it's going to zoom in where you are. So if you ever get into real trouble and you can't find your piece because it's all messed up, you can always click this one, zoom to fit, and it will zoom it back for you. And then you can rotate around and try to figure out what you're doing. There is a drop-down menu here, and if you drop it down, you get this sort of glass cube thing, or sometimes you'll get this menu. I'm not sure why this shows and sometimes it doesn't show. But if you're in trouble, you can click isometric and it'll bring it back to where you were. This cube, if you click on it, gives you that glass cube, and that allows you to look at it from different angles. So if I say, oh, I'm going to look at it from that perspective, it rotates it for you. You can get that glass cube pressing the space bar. That's probably the easier way. I'm going to look at it from that way, or I'm going to look at it from this way, or I'm going to look at it from underneath, and then it brings it around. But again, anytime you get into trouble, click over here, isometric, boom, brings it back for you. There's another drop-down menu here that shows you different ways of looking at it. The default one is shaded with edges, and that means these black lines, you can see the edges, but some people want to look at it without the edges, so it just leaves it more soft. It depends how you see it or what you want to see. You can do hidden lines removed, but to explain that, I'm going to use hidden lines visible. And a hidden line is really this dash line along the back, and it makes a line where you know there's a line, but it's hidden because you can't see it until you rotate it around. Oh, there it is. Oh, so the hidden lines change depending on what your viewpoint is. And it's just a nice visual reminder that there is an edge back there. If you want, you can do hidden lines removed, and then it gets a little bit more abstract. You got to kind of remember what's on the other side over there because you don't have a visual hint. I like to think of hidden lines as a hint. You can also go to what's called wireframe. Some of you maybe see that online or in movies and stuff. And the idea is that the frame is just imagined to be a bunch of thin wires, and you don't really get any volume or solid effect. It's just a sort of a shell in a sense. But I'll put it back to what most people are familiar with. If again you're having trouble zooming and everything, again, zoom to fit. That brings it right back. And if anything's going really wrong, put it back in isometric view and you're good to go again. Next thing, suppose I want to change the material so I can have a sense. And this is something we're going to use when we do 3D printing because it's kind of important. Right now over here under properties, the material's not specified. So if I right click on it and I hit edit material, I have all these different options: steel, alloys, plastics, rubbers, woods, whatever. Because we're going to do 3D printing, I'm going to switch it to ABS plastic. It's a type of plastic. For you science people and stuff, they give you different properties of the plastic, and the density is given here, slightly more than water in these units. But I'm going to stick with ABS plastic and click OK. It may change the color of your material. You can change that, and I'll show you in a bit. But one of the reasons you want to have the material specified, especially if we're going to do some 3D printing, up here, there's another tab called Evaluate. And if you click on that, because we know the dimensions of our piece and we know the density of the material, the computer will calculate your mass. And oops, I'll hit rebuild. You will get a property box up like this, the mass properties. If I make it out of ABS plastic, this overall piece right now will have a mass of 2.8 pounds. Now, I guess that should be in grams and kilograms or something, and we'd have to go into the menu and to change that. But 2.80 pounds. But I'm more interested in this number. The volume of this block will have a certain number in cubic inches or centimeters cubed or something. And this number is basically in a 3D printer how much plastic you're going to use printing this piece off. And I wanted to show you how to know what your volume is based on what material you've picked, and I guess if you want the mass as well. Okay, but that number is the one I'm after sometime. So we've set our material and we set our shape. Next thing I want to do is I want to do a hole right through that. If I want to do a modification to my piece, I'm going to go back to sketch. Again, I get a warning. Well, what plane, what surface, where are you going to draw this? So there's that familiar orange. I'm going to do it on this plane right here. And this time I'm going to put a circle right in that hole. Okay. I'm going to click OK, and there's my circle. And then I could accept that or jump and do an extrude cut. And this time I could draw orange arrow and extrude all the way through, but there's another feature. I could just do this, through all. Before, if I just do blind, it will do whatever dimension I get. But as soon as I do through all, that dimension thing flips up because it's saying you want to extrude right through everything. Doesn't matter what the dimension is. We'll just keep extruding till we're through. And there's extrude all. And there's my hole. The only problem is I don't really have that hole in the middle. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to edit my sketch. I'll do Smart Dimension and I'm going to go here to here and put my dimension in here. Now I remember my extrude was 3 3/4, so half of that will be, what will it be? It will be 1.500. No, that's not right. It'll be 1 3/8, 1.3750. Oops, I have to go back here. And I'm going to go 375. And now it's in the middle. I'm going to do Smart Dimension again. This time I'm going to go from here to here, off here somewhere in my style. And it's going to be 2.250 because I remember what the height was from before. And then I'll accept that. And there is that hole right in the middle where I wanted it. Again, I'm going to go back to evaluate, check my mass properties, and look at that. All of a sudden my volume's down and my mass is down. Not surprising since I just took out a whole bunch of that material. The last feature I want to show, if you want to do it, oh, sorry, I forgot. I should be changing these names. Instead of sketch, I need to give it some reference to what it's doing. End hole location, that's what I'm sketching. And it's not just a simple cut extrude, but it's going to be a hole through the block. And I'm going to accept that. So again, I'm giving it real names to the features that it's supposed to be representing in my drawing. And then I should be done. I'm getting a little mixed up here, so I'm going to jump back and go for isometric, and there, I've got it. The last thing I can do is if I want to change the color of my block, I go to the main feature here of the block, and I right-click, and you'll see this color ball for their appearance. If I click on that, And I have to be careful here. I want to change the whole main block. This will pop up, and I maybe want it, doesn't really matter, a darker green or something. Click something like that. Again, I will accept it, and gets it. Now, why is the inside of the hole still white? Still that ABS white. I colored it green. Well, if you remember, I did the main block shape. Okay, I did not do anything about the hole. Again, if I wanted the hole, I could right click on here and oops, I could go into here and change that body shape, the hole through. The menu would pop up and I might change it to red or to yellow or something, and then I click OK. And again, I'm a little bit off track here. Get my isometric view back in just and there I have a yellow hole in the center on a green block, just like I wanted. So there's some more features to play around, checking how you view the part, how you zoom around. Remember, always rename your pieces and check out your mass properties based on what you set as a material, and then you can change some colors if you want for your style. That's it. I hope you're learning. Thank you. Oh, forgot to save. Don't forget to save. Yep, save, and now we're done.